Praise the Lord, saints and friends. This is Elder Adrian Hammond, and the Lord put something on me that it came as a message yesterday from evangelist Karen White during her message. And it's funny because every time she comes, she gives me something that I can really use. And I thank God for how the Lord is using her and has used her. She truly is a woman of God, and I thank God for her. One thing she's talking about is transparency. That it shouldn't be anything that we as people of God hide from each other. I mean, of course, you don't know every single thing that we do. You don't have to know when we go to sleep, when we get up in the morning, whatever. But the things that take place in our lives. And so you get a better understanding as to what's taking place. And maybe even those who are going through the same things, that you are able to see that it's not, what do you call it? It's not, like, for instance, that the scripture says, think it not strange concerning the fiery trials that shall try you. So it's not unusual, just what we go through, and it's okay. And I'm even thinking about just what my wife and I had been through even before her stroke, and then afterwards. I'm not sure if many of you know, but Sister Hammond had a stroke earlier than when the massive stroke that came. It was sometime in December of 2023, and all of a sudden she was speaking gibberish, couldn't understand the things she said. So we rushed her to the hospital. There was this, well, we called an ambulance and they took her. And we found out that she did have a stroke, but it was a stroke that only affected her, at least what it seemed to be, that only affected her voice. She had aphasia, means you're inability or a difficulty speaking. So she spent the next few months after that working on her speech. Had speech therapists come and she worked on her own. She did pretty well. But at the same time, what was also noticing was that there were times where, for no reason, she would just collapse and fall. And I think that happened a little bit earlier, because it happened several times, which of course is very, very concerning. You don't just stand in one moment and then you fall the next. We thought it was something the matter with her heart, and they did find something. But to make sure that she didn't damage herself, we got a wheelchair for her so that she didn't have to walk far, that she'd get in her wheelchair, even though most of the time she didn't need it, but just in case the wheelchair was there. But that was okay. Then we found out that we had a hot water pipe burst underneath us, underneath the floor. And for about a month or so, we ended up living in a hotel for all of April, pretty much all of April. So they had to make sure they didn't see any asbestos. They had to, because it's a laminated floor, they had to, if you take out one spot, you had to take out the entire floor. And that floor essentially was extensive. It was dining room, living room, and hallway. So most of the house was kind of blocked off. So we had to kind of live out of our suitcases for about a month. I think that's not a complaint, because I know people have been living that way for even more, especially those who suffered during this past fire. So essentially, again, I'm not just complaining what we went through. Just that's what we went through, and I'm still praying for those who were affected by both the Altadena and the Pacific Palisades fires. That's horrible, and I just it's almost unfathomable the damage that was wrought in those two communities. But anyway, so but while she was in a hotel, she was hospitalized. I think she had an infection, and so we had to rush her to the ER, and she was hospitalized for several days. We had planned a cruise, especially since I had retired, so I really didn't have anything stopping me from going on a cruise with my wife, and I really wanted her to be able to rest. That was in danger. And I felt, you know what, maybe we shouldn't just go on a cruise anyway, because essentially she needs to rest up, especially after she's been in hospital. But she really wanted to go on the cruise. And even to this day, I batter myself, for lack of a better term, punish myself, blame myself, I guess maybe it's a better word, for taking her on that cruise. Because everything that happened wrong, everything that would have happened wrong did happen. So it really wasn't for us to go, but my reasoning for taking her was because she was looking forward to it, and because I wanted her to rest. She was under a lot of pressure, and she wanted, and I could see it. And if I just give her a chance to just breathe a little bit. That was my reasoning for that. Anyway, she was in the hospital for about almost a week to make sure everything was taken care of. And I talked to her doctor, the one who was attending to her, and nice doctor, one of the nicest men you'll ever meet. But he was worried as well. He was worried. I remember my brother-in-law said, don't take her, you know. Because he just didn't want to see her being hurt, and I understand that. But she really wanted to go. And it was like she was just pushing for it to go. And if I didn't take her, I probably wouldn't have heard the end of it. But of course now you think, well, maybe I should just bore that. See, the things that Lord sometimes will heal you of going back and beating up yourself for things that happened in the past. And to be honest, I'm a lot better now than what I was. Used to just torment me for days and on end. I would feel just everything was my fault. That if I didn't do this, and that's the one thing I still have to batter. I tell other people, don't always blame yourself, but I'm the one that does it. I'm the one that does the blame. I blame myself. I don't blame other people, but I blame me. But then I have to remember scripture. Come ye that are burdened, heavy laden, and I will give you rest. And sometimes guilt can be such a heavy burden. It could take your life. It can take your life. But I'm going to stop here because this really is in several sections. So I'll stop here for today, and then I'll pick it up again at another time, maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday, whatever happens to be. But I guess the key here is understanding the dynamics of everything that took place and why I'm now so careful about my wife, and that it's a determination not to let anything on my watch happen to her. And since my watch is virtually 24 hours, I have to make sure it's done. But God has blessed me. He has watched over me. He has kept me. And even during this particular circumstance and the things that take place with it, I'm still receiving blessings from God. And am I happy? I'm as content as what one could be in the Lord. I'm happy that both my wife and I are saved. I'm happy that my son is saved. Happy that both my mother and my mother-in-law are saved. And that I'm an example to my family as well as to those around me. But again, sometimes you just have to be transparent and not to hold things just because you think that you're strong. With any of us, there is no strength except that God gives us strength. There is no comfort unless the Lord gives us comfort. And the Lord has given me comfort. But as I said, this is how I'm setting up the background for what took place. And then from there, it's pretty much a sharing of what's taking place now. But thank you for listening. Thank you for being there and not to judge anyone, because I can't judge anyone anymore. Too many things have happened that I know full well that I better not be judging anybody. And the Bible does says, judge not, that ye be not judged. And in that instance, you would be judging. Not telling people, now understand this, telling someone that what they're doing is not right, according to Scripture, that's not judging. That's the Bible, using the Bible, let them know what's happening, so that hopefully they'll recognize it. People try to use that Scripture and so that no one can tell them what to do. And sometimes we need to be told what to do. But anyway, God bless you. May He keep you before I start rambling. Love you all. And I'll continue on this at another session. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.